This is Rebecca Shedor. She's been George's piano teacher for how long? How long have you been teaching George?
About 6 years.
About 6 years. And how's your experience been with him and your growth in seeing him over the last 6 years since he came to you?
Well, when I first started teaching George, he was just a very typical sixth grader. His interests were everywhere, and getting him to stay seated at the piano long enough to make progress is always a teacher's challenge. But as he matured, something really happened where he kind of took over his own education in piano. And he would come to me with a project and say, I want to learn how to do this song, and I will work hard to do this song. And he would set his goals high, and then he would reach for them. And this particular song, the last one that he's done, Waterfall by John Schmidt, he came to me at the end of the spring, which was the end of the semester, and said, I really want to learn Waterfall, which is one of John Schmidt's harder pieces. And I could not give him hardly any lessons. I think I got together with him once all summer, and he came into his first lesson for the fall having already memorized the piece. He learned this piece virtually on his own. And that's my goal as a teacher, is to bring my students to the point where they can teach themselves. And George has reached that point. I am very proud of him.
Have you ever been times where you felt like perhaps he had overreached his skills at the time, and then perhaps maybe you doubted that he was able to kind of master the piece early on, and then somehow came through with it? I mean, what were your thoughts about how he approaches these difficulties?
Well, you know, there's a balance there to be had. You want to shine in recitals, so you want to have your piece be accessible. But George was always pushing the limit on that and kind of overreaching. But then that would force him to develop as a pianist. And so that drive that he had always worked in his favor.
You feel that at this stage of his life, as he now is a senior and now transitioning into college, where do you think music will find itself in his life and his, continued mastery of it, or working with it over the years? Kind of where do you think he'll go with it?
Well, I think George will always be enriched by piano. I think that some kids study piano their entire childhood and then leave it as an adult. I don't think George will ever do that. It is just in his blood, and he has a real musical soul. I think it will enrich his life. It'll enrich the life of his family, and I think he will bring the skills that he's brought to piano to whatever endeavor he chooses. One of the things you really learn how to do as a musician is take constructive criticism, because that's what the lesson is. Every single week is constructive criticism. And George would take what I had to say and he would run with it. And that is a true student who can be directed and yet be self-driven. And music has taught George to do that.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for the time you spent with him.
Thank you.
Over the years.
It's been a pleasure.